Welcome everyone to another session and another episode of Join the Chat. This is the place where every single opinion is important, where your voice matters, and we encourage you to express yourself, and we try to provide a free and open platform to speak and also to be heard. I am your host, your moderator, Renford Mr. Bojangles, alongside my brother Andre Tiga is in the
Yeah,
house here tonight, and we have two lovely ladies joining us this afternoon. We have Miss SCB. She's becoming
Hey,
a favorite, recurring appearances. So we're glad to have her here again this evening, and we have Miss Cheryl Archer Burrell, who is live and direct from Jamaica, Jam Down, JA. Welcome. Now, Andre, I know we are here tonight, but this is one of those shows where we want to hear the ladies' voices. We want to hear the woman's perspective. So
agree.
I'm going to do my best to just toe the line and really hear y'all out because I really want to flesh certain ideas out, perspectives, opinions out, and who else better to get it from but the women themselves. So we are speaking tonight about equality in the workplace, women's experiences in the workplace. So I just want to throw it out there first. Ladies, do you feel that the workforce, the workplace, the work environments are expressing or showing equality amongst the genders or showing equality in general? You can take it on whichever platform you want to jump on right now.
um, I am all woman. Let me throw that out there. And when I said I'm all woman, I just don't mean gender. I am about women empowerment. I am about women development. And I am about women and young girls becoming their best selves. So, yes, I'm all women.
Okay,
Is there equality in the workplace? I am an advocate, and I don't generally like to use the word equality when it comes to stuff like that, because equality doesn't translate to fairness.
hmm,
So I prefer equity. But is there equality in the workplace? And the answer is no, because there is a culture of women staying in their lanes that I do not like.
now, when you say staying in their lane, are they forced to stay in those lanes? Are they choosing to be in those lanes? What do you mean by staying in the lanes?
I don't think they choose to. There's just not the platform, there's just not the avenues for women to be their best self in the workplace.
Hmm.
And I love numbers, I love stats. And I am thinking, according to Statistic Canada, it's about 59.5% of college registrants are women, yet still only 21% to 31% of women are in the boardroom.
Hmm.
That can't be equality.
We clearly were studying the same statistics because I had 56% of women in the US are enrolled in colleges and universities. So we're doing the same research. So I just want to let you know that we are of the same learned background. SCB, would you agree that the workplace is not necessarily a place where women are being able to excel or present their best selves?
Yes, I completely agree with both of your statements. I mean, I didn't do too much thorough research, so I don't have the numbers, but when you read articles, you see that there's still large gaps between, women pay and men pay. Like men are getting paid significantly more than women, yet women are the one who have a a better educational background, or they're the ones that are going to school longer. They're the ones getting, you know, those degrees where compared to the numbers for men. Yet when it comes to the workplace, you don't see that. You don't see women in the boardroom like it was mentioned earlier. You don't see a lot of women in places where decisions are made. You know, you have men mostly. I'm not even mostly, all white men making decisions for the rest of us, where it's like you're making decisions for a woman. Why isn't a woman invited to these places? Why aren't women making decisions as well? So I definitely agree that there's definitely not, we're still not equal, for sure. And it has nothing to do with education. It's just, I guess, the people in power don't want to give up their power and make spaces for women.
So then, with that being said, more women are going to colleges and universities and graduating, having their degrees, having their honors, having their bachelors, still not able to get into the workforce. Should we still be pushing women to go post-secondary?
Should we still be
Yeah.
doing what?
Pushing women to attend post-secondary education. If they're going to do the 4 years, right, get this degree, and then come back and not able to use it and highlight themselves in the workforce, is that something that we should be empowering the young women or encouraging the young women to continue to do?
Yeah, we
Sure,
definitely
it
should. Yeah.
should.
We should. You shouldn't tell a woman don't go to school because you're not going to get a job. Men are going to get it. I think that whichever career that you want, you should still seek the education. You know, if your career does, if you're going into a career that requires you to get the education, then get the education. The solution shouldn't be don't get the education. We should look into obvious solutions where you have all these qualified women. Why are they not working the jobs that the men have? And when you look at it, a lot of men in power, if you look at their educational background, they don't even have the qualification, say, a woman has who's applying for the same role.
Andre, as a man,
Yeah.
what's your take on some of these positions that these ladies are speaking about tonight? Are these things that you've seen, witnessed, experienced, shared in? Talk to me about it. What is your perspective on the equality into the workforce with ladies
In
and
in terms of the workplace, we have to, again, it's too broad. It's like as my mother had said earlier with the equality.
oh,
It's
that's your
like,
mother?
yeah,
Oh,
it's
but
like,
I never did know.
yeah, like the whole equality thing is it's so broad, and it doesn't guarantee, like, not prosperity, but it doesn't guarantee fairness, so to speak. In terms of equality in the workplace, different workplace bring different result, like in the industry, like the trades and stuff like that, or technological fields. But if it's a field with a position but the qualification are the prerequisite is based on academics and criteria that can be fulfilled by a female, I think that yeah, female should get a chance. But it's just hard to see equality come into play when there's a hierarchy in the workplace. So right away, from once there's a hierarchy, there's not gonna be equality in a sense. Meaning, there's a general manager, there's a manager, and the CEO, and all of that kind of stuff. And majority of the time, you tend to see it being a male figure. Male figure being the sense of the company being around for a long time. So tradition overrule current affairs now, in the sense that we're trying to get more women into leadership roles. So maybe that company will do movement in the sense of down in the lower chain to say, okay, we're gonna have a lady at the front desk, or assistant managers, put them in roles that is sure that, okay, we are growing, but how much is the growth impact? Like, why not change up the hierarchy? Say, okay, then we're gonna have a CEO, a woman who's a CEO, versus down at the level where they can influence decision making and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, it showed that, yeah, we employ a female, but in terms of the decision, that's what the backbone of most company, the priorities that they put in place. So I think, as Esther was saying earlier, where you can't have some man giving putting in rules without there being a female feedback, in a sense, to understand a female better. So I think we should change or get rid of the hierarchy, in the sense of who is in top, versus saying, okay, we're just gonna put in policies in place to employ female, versus putting them in strategic positions.
Okay. I have Michael Kaswika on the chat. She says there's not enough support for women to thrive in the workplace. So I know Mama Archer Burrell, you were speaking about equity. So what are equitable things that can be done to bridge that gap or to support women in the workplace or in the work environment?
Okay, as a girl who is, I'm not a millennial, obviously.
I was gonna say, Miss Archer, I think you passed the girl stage. I think you're a woman.
So I was raised in a culture where women, their place was in the kitchen. I abhor that. I was raised by a mother whom I was told, your mother was the brightest girl to go through that school. Yet, my mother was a farmer. I am not looking down on a farmer, but my mom, she wasn't one of those well-to-do farmer. She acquired land from her ancestors, from her generations. But my mother was not sent to school, and I believe she was not sent to school, obviously not because she wasn't bright, but because when she was growing up, the thing was they go to elementary school and then they're sent to learn sewing. Right now, if my skirt am pulled down, I am not sewing it. I hate sewing because of that. I am going to take my skirt to my husband and say, can you hem this for me? I am not sewing anything. That's how much I hate sewing because of what I think it did to my mom. My mom could have been someone very influential and powerful in society, but because of the culture she was raised in, I abhor those things. I feel like I should study. I should be the best version of me. And I am not going to go out of my way to step on anybody's foot, step on anybody's toe. But if my pursuit for excellence is going to hurt anybody, tough for you. I am not going to make the gender I was born into determine my aptitude.
I like that. Now, clearly, it seems like you tried to change the course from what your mom was going through versus what you were going to do for your life. Do you think it's changed? Have times changed? Are women? Do you find that women and young girls are being accepted in different avenues and different spaces than what you saw your mother being accepted into back in her time?
I think it is changing. Are we willing? Are the millennials willing? Or I don't know who comes after millennial, but are the
aliens?
the aliens for real? Are they willing to change that course? Or are they going to fold under pressure? Are they going to tolerate the anxiety that is displayed in the workplace? Are they going to say, you know what? I can't be bothered to fight. I'm tired of fighting. I'm not talking about all this feminist crap. Not that. I am talking about being woman, being strong woman, being empowered woman, being a liberated woman. Not all the feminist crap that we talk about and whatever a man do, I can do it. That is true. Whatever a man do, we can do it. But I am talking about being liberated, being empowered, taking your rightful place in society.
Essie, back to you. Do you think times have changed? The expectations of women a couple of, I guess, generations ago, are they the same now? Are they different?
I would say I definitely think times have 100% changed. And just a point that Asher, Mrs. Burrell was
No, man,
saying, going through.
we already know it's your mother-in-law, so you can just say, "Mama."
she she mentioned culture, and I think culture is like the number one reason why, you know, men are in the positions that they're in and women are in the positions that they're in, and that there, but I do see a change, because I think that everything that, you know, you do, it starts from your home, it starts from your culture, what you were taught, what you were learned. And I'm sure all of you can agree, the way that, you know, I was raised, and many of the women that I know, it was in at home, it was like, you know, your brothers can do whatever they want, your brothers are babied, you know, the boys are the babies regardless of the age, the boys are the babies, and the woman, it could be the youngest sister, the oldest sister, it doesn't matter, as long as you're the sister, you're like the second mom in the home. And it's funny because couple weeks ago, I was seeing a trend on social media for the oldest sister in the household. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're the oldest sibling, but as long as you're the oldest sister, it's like you're the mom, you know, you're treated significantly different. You have all these rules, all these responsibilities, whereas, you know, your brothers or your cousin or the older sibling or older cousin, if you live with your cousins, that's a male, they have no responsibilities. They can do whatever they want. They can get away with what they want. And the woman is like the slave in the home. So I think that now I'm seeing a lot of people my age, and even some people that are older, some people that are younger, they're rising against that narrative where, you know, men can do whatever they want, women have to do this. And once the culture changes, once there's a shift in the culture, I think that in society overall, you'll see a shift as well. Because I know for me, the way I was raised and the way that I am now, and I'm not blaming, you know, any of my parents for this or anything like that, because that's how they were raised. But I know that my generation, were a lot of my friends and family that are around my generation, were no longer accepting this idea that it's a guy, you know, it's fine, it's the boy, leave the boy alone, the girl will do it. No one wants to live like that. No one wants to continue that for the next generation. And seeing a shift just in that way of thinking, I think that it will also change society. So I think if people truly want to see a change in the workplace, see a change, you know, outside of the home, you need to start at home. If you are treating like the boys and the woman and the men in your home differently, then of course when you go to work, you're gonna take those same ideologies to your workplace, and it's just gonna continue repeating itself. So I will say that there has been a change. We're not there yet, but there's been a significant change, because you see women now like working all sorts of jobs that usually were dominated by men, you know, like in the financial industry. You even see women working like general labor jobs. You see women plumbers, you see women contractors, you see women doing a bunch of things that they were not doing like even 20 years ago. I know when I was younger, the woman, when I would go to certain places, you know, you go to the bank and stuff, you always see men, but now you see women everywhere. So I definitely think there's been a shift, and that shift starts at home. You know, what are you teaching your family at home that they're going to take when they get out of the house and go to work, go to school and stuff? So
What you were speaking about in terms of the culture, I think is very key, right? In order for society to change, cultures have to change, families have to change.
Mhm.
The conversation that you just had with us now, and Mama Archer, you can talk about this as well. Are you able to have these conversations in the family structure and it to be heard and be valued?
Sure, because
You sound like anything you say, I'm going to listen to. So
well, Andre is gonna get me for this, but on the duties list, the boys' names are there. They have to wash the bathroom, they have to wash the dishes. It's not only the girls who are going to do it. And I have 2 girls. I have 5 boys. And I don't treat any of them better,
But not in terms of treating them better, them not having duties, but that conversation, the conversation of, just because this is a woman doesn't mean she has to clean the bathroom and cook and clean and iron and sew and whatever. Like, does that conversation happen?
Yes,
So
it
that you
does.
can
I
appreciate.
have a stepson, and he's like, I'm not cleaning no bathroom. I'm not a girl. I'm like, I kick your butt, Adrian. Go and clean the bathroom, or you gotta
Oh, you
pay
had to
me.
say his name. Call him
He's-
out.
I have to call out Adrian. If Adrian doesn't clean the bathroom and I clean the bathroom, Adrian got to pay me.
Well,
I don't
Adrian,
even
if
think
you
it's
want to
just-
comment, Adrian, feel free to come join the chat. You can comment in the chat section. Maybe we can have you up here on a follow-up show so we can hear your perspective and what happened on your ends. Maybe you're tired, maybe your leg was broken, maybe your hand was. But, I don't want to just take the one side of the story. You were about to say, Esther?
I don't even think it's just chores, but like just everything. Like I'm not saying like Andre had this brought up. See, this is how Andre was, because I don't think Andre was raised that way because he knows how to do all these things. But I think in a lot of households you have like, think of a household, maybe, I don't know if Ren, you have any sisters or female cousins, but in the household, the woman is always encouraged, like, you need to go to school, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to learn how to do this, you need to get an education. And then the guy just kind of like,
Whatever.
oh, that's my baby. He could, like a lot of cultures are like that. Black, Spanish, Asian, like so many cultures. I used to think it was just like within my culture, but and then I meet so many people. You see so many people on the social media. Everyone, it's the same story. I had to do this, I had to do that, and there has been a shift because children have raised up and decided to go against this culture. So I will say there has been a shift, but I think it's more than just chores, but just the expectation that there is on women at home compared to a guy at home is very different. And I think that's why, the way patriarchy has been able to last for as long as it has, because a lot of the times, women are the one who have allowed it, because a lot of it's not just dads telling their sons that they can do whatever they want, but it's also women who are encouraging men to get away with things that they wouldn't let another woman get away with. So
but to be honest, you have to have some form of difference, in upbringing a child and a girl, a boy and a girl, because it's just two different sexes. So it's just that being in foreign, we kind of tend to live in the side of the house during the winter time more and stuff like that. So you find out that maybe some shores maybe get not shoved under, but it overlooked, in the sense that because it's in the house, and a house is better managed by a female. Be real, the female is more organized and stuff like that. So the home is like a palace, it's a paradise. So to have, what's funny, if to say you should put a woman in charge of $1 million or the bank, she will feel happy to go in charge of the bank, but tell her to be in charge of the army is like, no, because blood gonna spill on her. So you do that, you make the tough decision. So I think sometimes we kind of mix it up. So the home is a very good place to run. If I could stay home all day and my wife go out and work, fine, go ahead, let me chill home. Just reverse the cycle, and you see some upset. Oh, you're home all day, you should be doing, the table will turn a bit. So for example, now with being in a traditional tropical home now, where outside is included on the yard, you never see the grandma or the father telling the daughter to go outside and the son to sweep up outside or do stuff outside the yard. The yard is a different aspect. It's more, get yourself dirty and stuff like that. So I think the shores, so I think the shore is not that boys get away, but because location, geographic have a lot to do with it. When you go outside the house, your mom not gonna expect, well, if it's a little kid, the mom not gonna expect the sister to so-called protect the big sister, being the big sister or the older sister, whatever, to protect the guy outside in the street. No, you probably come home, your mom asks a smaller brother, like, why did you do something for your sister, da. So I think we have to differentiate. But I think where the thing get mixed up now is when, for us in our culture now, if a male figure should be doing the chores, like doing the dishes and stuff, you're going to have probably that odd uncle teasing you, oh, woman do that, do. So that insecurity come on to us now as a kid now, where we think that if we should participate in that, we're becoming a woman. We listen to our masculinity. But I guess the communication is not there a lot, where we sit down and talk, like how you said earlier, Renford, to say, okay, then I'm not limiting you or putting to a slave to say, you, because I pushed your sister to do this in the house. No, no, no. It's just that a female is gonna be a mother, she's a nurturer, she's a giver. So first we have to teach her to run the house in a sense, right? But in terms of the male, you're not gonna force your son to go do chores inside the house. But I guarantee when summertime come, the same mother is asking, can you do something outside, like get the act together, straighten up a room, do stuff like that, right? So it go two ways. And I think there's a difference in raising two kids. So there's not an equal to say, okay, I'm raising a kid this way. And that's meaning no. Girls are raised a certain way, and a guy and a man is supposed to be raised a certain way. Just saying, you know. So I think there's should be some differences. Likewise in the workplace too. I think females are more again. If it, to be honest, female to me is the head. It's weird, but yeah, they are the head. Where again they can plan things. They're patient. They rationalize things are better than man. Whereas we kind of sometimes use impulse and crack under pressure at times, whereas the females are stronger in that sense. You know, the females have something to look forward to every month that me and you as a guy can never mentally understand how they do it, and they look forward to it, brother, and can withstand that pain. So I think in the workplace now, that's why I think now females should be more in the decision making or the running of the business, so to speak, versus just employing a female to say we have an employee. Because history have shown where there was a lot of, in the past, there was a lot of queens, a lot of warrior princesses too in the past, and they run some big empires, talking of the African empire, and they reigned for a long time, you know. And even we're gonna use Queen Elizabeth, she's been on the throne for a very long time too. So if we want to stay in society,
It's a time to go.
woman, you know, she can't done, she can't dead. So in idea, it still show that how can a monarch that reigns so long are one of the strongest point in this era. It's like since the turn of the 19th century, where England really gained a lot of power, and a woman been on the throne for all this time. How didn't society overthrow that female, or just to say, right? So I think that sometimes women just need to realize that they are the head, and they have to be more militant and fight feet, and know that you guys are I want to say better leader than even us as man, to be honest with you. So
Hey, Dre, you give us a lot of stuff to think about. Old Crown Aquatic says, yes, Dre, you're making a lot of good points. There is a difference. So let's take some of what Andre is saying. So, ladies, if the tables were turned and the men were in the house all the time, would there be an expectation, and you were out being the breadwinner or whatever? Would there be an expectation that the man would be doing more of the domestic work?
I'm going to take that one because right now I work. But before this, I was studying and I was going to school. My husband was the sole breadwinner. Though I was working, my money was my money. And yeah, so would I expect him if I am going out to work? I didn't feel like I am studying, I am working, and I was pretty organized. So I know how to juggle the things. So breakfast is not sacrificed, dinner is not sacrificed, cleanliness of the house is not sacrificed. I can juggle it.
Mama, you're not answering my question though.
But what I'm saying, would I expect him to do all of the domestic work? Hell, no.
I didn't say all. I just said, would you expect him to do more of the domestic work? That's it.
More, of course. If he's at home, he should do more.
Okay.
Yeah, naturally.
Naturally, if he's at home, he should do more.
Yeah.
What about you, SCB?
Yeah, I like whoever's home naturally, because if you're not working, of course you should be doing more. But I don't think that there should be like a guy should have less expectations than a woman, or a woman should have more. I think that both men and women should, you should always, just for yourself, expect the best. Try the best you can to be the best person that you can, not because you're a man, not because you're a woman. I think that like, I wouldn't care if, you know, if Andre is doing all the domestic work, or I'm doing all the domestic work, if I'm not working or if he's not working. But I think that I shouldn't be expected to do this just because I'm a
just
woman.
because I'm a woman.
Like, that doesn't make sense, because like, I don't understand where that thinking comes from. Like, you should clean more because you're a woman. Did God give me a mop on my back? Like, I don't understand what, like, what's, I just don't.
All of this come from colonialism, Esther.
Because when you, there's some, I remember learning about different tribes around the world, and there was one tribe, I forget what they were called, but it was the women who were the hunters
and gatherers.
They were
and
the ones who did everything, and the men did all the domestic stuff at home. They're the ones who raised the children at home, and the women were the ones going out fighting with animals. You know, they were the one killing the animals with their bare hands and all of that. So to say that, you know, you should clean because you're a woman, or you should know how to cook because you're a woman, or you should stay at home because, like, I don't understand like where that thinking comes from. If I was meant to be, I'm not like attacking anyone, but if I was meant to do all the cleaning, I think that, you know, maybe I would have been born with a broom as a tail, or an indication that my purpose in life is to clean, you know, but I'm born with the same overall, like 90% same physical components as a male.
Not to cut you off, but you said something earlier, like, okay, there was a time when our tribe where the man was the domestic one and the woman is a hunter and gatherer. It got to show that one has to go out there, one has to stay at home. You know, so there's a role and there's a task. So I just think that because societal put up their banners to say, okay, let's fight for woman rights and all that, they're the one who propel it and make it seem as if females were always underground and underneath the rugs and stuff before.
I don't think
that's what I'm saying.
I don't think it was necessarily like, I don't think it was necessarily because, you know, a man had a role and a woman had a role necessarily. I think it's just what worked for that society. And I think that women can handle pain much better than men can. Maybe that's why that culture or that tribe decided that the women are the ones that are gonna, you know, get hurt because men cannot handle pain. You know, I see all these videos of men bawling their eyes out when they get a vaccine or a cough or a cold. You know, men can't handle pain. So I think that was a smart tribe. Wow. But I don't think it's because.
But we don't oppose that. Again, we don't like pain, and you know that's just
wow. I don't mind pain.
You know, but but can't bear the pain at female face every month. You know,
looking forward, but I don't
pregnancy, and it just we just not that. No. We weren't meant for that because you look at it now, it's just with the pain and stuff. But then you probably find out that more women were probably dying because always the hunters and the gatherers, so to speak, who's living a rougher life, their lifespan will be shortened. Flip the tables now, where the female expectancy is 80 and the man is like 65. So at the end of the day, there's more wear and tear on your body. So it goes two ways to show that, okay, then if you think you're stronger, okay, you go be the breadwinner, you go do all of that stuff. No, the two of us need to work. That's why I don't understand. With the female, they tend to drag you like, okay, let's split it and say 50-50. For some way, somehow they're going to try and pull 25 over their side to say, well, I'm the one working hard, but when I was the one working hard, you never used to see it. You know, so sometimes I think it end up now where it become a competition.
Things like
you know, it'll become a competition type of thing where I just think if there's a role to be played in the sense of, as I said, you have your A game or your strengths, and I have my strength. Sometime I will try to empower your weakness, vice versa. But I don't think it's where, oh, well, one is subject to the host. Nah. We just help out each other when we can. And we just know, okay, this time is your time. You know, we just try to be a balance.
I think your mama wants to talk.
Yeah.
I think your mama wants to say.
Andre,
Andre,
there is
listen, Andre.
there is no rule that say one has to stay home.
Yes, Mama, talk.
That worked for a time. That stopped working from about 1965.
Make them know.
So there is no rule that say one has to be home. Both should, if we're both working, we should both share the duties. And if I am staying home, if I'm going to stay home, I am going to write down everything that I do, and I am going to put a price to it.
Yeah, I remember.
No, but
There
you
was
have to
some
remember.
hold up. I remember there was some ladies who did that, and they itemized all of the work that they did throughout the day, and they said if you were to have to pay a cleaner to do this, it would cost this. The babysitter would have cost that. The cook would have cost this. The chauffeur would have cost that. And at the end of the day, the amount of money that woman would be charging, you don't have enough money to pay her. But we're gone off of the lion and the lioness topic, because
Yeah.
we know that the lioness go out there and they hunt and they bring back the food, and the lion is still what they call the king of the pride. So I want to go back to and really focus on the unity, though, right? I think that's what Andre was alluding to a little bit earlier, is that, we're talking about these roles, that roles, but at the end of the day, we should be a team, right? We're in this thing together.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it, brother.
So what are the
That's-
ways that we can make each other the best teammate? What are the
Yeah.
best attributes that a woman can bring to the table, or the best attributes that you see in your husband, your brothers, your significant other? What are those things? Maybe we can talk about some of the highlights, so we don't feel like we're adversaries, but we're actually like unified and taking on the world together. Because again, coming back to what you were saying, SCB, we can't change culture if everybody is always opposed to each other, and then we won't be able to change the society. So what are the things that we can do to come together, and what is the best attributes that maybe you have or you see in other females or men that help foster a great team dynamic?
I think the first thing is just getting away from all those weird traditional thinking, like a woman needs to do this, a man should do that, a woman should do this, or just coming with a clean slate, not having these society expectations with the
True.
person who you want to have that team, to build that team with, So
where
once
where would that start? Does that start in the dating phase, or does that start when you're married? Like, where does that start?
that starts before you're even dating, as
Friend.
I think that not even just men have expectations, but women have expectations too. I need a guy who makes $1 billion, who drives a Porsche, who has no kids, who did this and this.
And sometimes she doesn't have to work.
But that's the thing. Why are you expecting something from someone when you don't even have you don't even have those things? So before you're even dating, like, I just think a lot of men and women have weird expectations of the opposite sex. So first of all, just throwing all those expectations in the garbage. You shouldn't want, like, of course you want, a man who's respectful and all these things, but not necessarily have all these unrealistic expectations that men and women have. So you work on yourself, be the best person that you can be. You be a billionaire, you drive a nice car, you don't do those things. And then you can say, I want this, I'm expecting this, I'm expecting this. Because if you just want to stay home, not work, well, of course, there's going to be men who are going to have all the jobs and have the best things in life because you're just comfortable with having nothing, so that you can stay home and have someone who has all those things. So not having those traditional expectations. And if you have expectations, just trying to figure out is your expectation realistic and where does it come from? I think expectation is just the biggest downfall in my opinion. Having weird expectations and a traditional way of thinking that's been going on from generation to generation. So just renewing your mind and I think that's step one. Before you're dating, before anything, you know, because we're talking about workplace, right? So if you're expecting a man to be like this, like this, like this, then why wouldn't the man be your manager, your boss, the CEO? Because you don't have those expectations for yourself. So having better expectations and just a clear mind.
Kind of not limiting the mindset, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mama Cheryl Archer Burrell, what are attributes that make a great teammate?
First, we have to understand that we have a lot of strength, and we have to nurture those strengths and use it to our advantage. We have strength in levels and increments, and we have power. Don't abuse the power. Use the power that we have within to sort of empower others rather than use it to discredit, rather than use it to prohibit. Just use the power that we have for the ultimate good of humanity. Let's not put a gender to it. Let's look at politics. I've got to touch it, even though I am not in it anymore. How many female head of states do we have? Not a lot. How many female heads of government do we have? Not a lot. The hands that rock the cradle rules the world. Anytime we realize that having a woman in a good position is going to work for the benefit of all of us, that is where we're going to change the dynamics. In politics, women is notably working across political divide to get things done. After the campaign is over, women become public servant and we get better things done. I read somewhere that in India, there was a woman-led council and there are some men-led council. The woman-led council, she used her position to bring clean drinking water to a community, 62% more than the men, more than the communities who are led by men. That is power. And that is power that is being used to empower rather than to prohibit. Use the power, acknowledge the power that we have, and use the power for the greater good of humanity. Remove the gender from it.
All right. All right. Spoken like a true politician. We have Old Crown Aquatic in the chat here saying, I believe in working together and supporting each other, providing strength by uplifting each other's weaknesses. And I think that's a great position in terms of like establishing and maintaining teamwork.
Mhm.
Andre, you quiet over there.
Yeah, just listen to lady them speak before, you know.
Yeah, man, that's a good thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
Good. Listen, I have one last topic that I just want to speak about. Hopefully it doesn't get too testy or too touchy. In
Mhm.
terms of attire and clothing, there's been certain statements that say that, certain clothes that women wear are distracting and we must stop them from wearing certain clothing and implement certain dress codes in whatever environment, right? Or is it the young boys who are supposed to be told to respect the women more and don't gawk? And this whole thing about attire, is it a big deal? Is it a big deal for women? Do you feel that you are subjected a certain way if you wear a certain thing, or if you don't? Like, is attire a huge thing for y'all?
Yeah, 100%. not even just in life. Women are always like, attire is always a big thing in a woman's life. Either she's covering up too much, she's showing too much. You never going to work and talk about what a man's wearing, what shoes they have on, the shirt they have on. It's always woman. I know that depending on the industry, of course, there's different expectations. I saw that there were some restaurants who were forcing the woman to wear heels and short skirts and all of that. Some women were saying, they work 10-hour shifts with heels all night. Their feet are bleeding, but it was still a requirement. It's just ridiculous. I think, of course, you should go into work dressed professionally. But I think that the expectation that there is on women, the way they're dressed at work, is such a big deal compared to men, of course. Men can wear whatever they want, look however they want, but a woman, it's like, your hair, your makeup, you should wear makeup, you shouldn't. Your hair should look a certain way. Your clothes are too tight, your shirt is too see-through, you're dressed like a grandma. Like, you can never win when you are a woman going into work. I don't know if Mrs. Burrell has anything to say about that, but it's ridiculous.
Mama,
Yep, I think there is too much gung ho on attire, and I remember I was in college, and this girl had big hair, and the male professor tell her she shouldn't sit at the front of the class because her hair is distracting. And then there is this guy. He comes to class late with his pants below. I'm seeing his butt crack. And he walks up the front. And I'm like, hell no. This girl is not allowed to sit in the class with her in the front with her big hair. But this guy can walk in late with his pants below his butt. I can see his butt crack. And that's okay. Where is the double standard? Why is the double standard? If I feel comfortable, that is what I am going to wear. I am not going to go against policies, but I am not going to be dictated to the length of my skirt, the size of my heels, all of this crap that get us nowhere. I go for comfort. I remember my daughter and my son, they were traveling first class. And because my daughter was wearing a sandal and a head tie, the lady at the desk, she asked her 3 times about, this is first class. And then my daughter had to say to her, ma'am, are you going to check me in, or do I have to call your supervisor? Too much gung-ho on attire that get us nowhere. I'm from Jamaica, where children had to wear uniform to school. And I had issues with that because my son got sent home for wearing the wrong color socks to school. And I'm like, come on. How does that affect his learning? There's nobody seeing his socks. You pull up on boy pants to look at his socks and send him home for wrong color socks?
I know that was Andre.
No. Talk about, brother.
Listen, let's dispel the myth, or maybe it's not a myth. Do women get dressed up to look good for themselves and their girlfriends, or to attract men? Which is it? Because I'm hearing that it has nothing to do with us. You guys are getting dressed up just to look good for yourselves because you saw it in a magazine or you saw this and you just feel good in it. So let me know, what's the truth?
I dress up first for me. I dress up first for me. I wake up and I don't feel 100%. I'm like, hell, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to dress just for the heck of it.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah, I honestly, I can only speak for myself. I dress up for me 97% of the time, and then 3% is whatever else. But I work from home, so most of the time I'm working in my pajamas. But when I did go in the office, I was just dressing up for me. But I know, depending once again on the industry, like you have some people who work in, the restaurant industry. Maybe, like, of course, some of them will say they're dressing up for themselves, or people who work at a bar or something, they say they're dressing up for themselves, but the better they look, the more tips that they get. So I think it depends on where you're working. It depends on how you dress, but I can only speak for myself. I dress up for myself, and the friends that I'm around, we all dress up for ourselves. If people like it, great. If people don't like it, great. It doesn't matter.
Tough
I know
luck.
when I was going, sorry?
Tough luck if they don't.
Yeah, when I was going into the office, I dressed up. The way I dressed depended on how I woke up. If I was tired, I was just grabbing whatever was closest to me. If I had an extra 10 minutes, I was like, okay, I'll look nicer. Sometimes Andre would be like, where are you going? But I was like, this is what I want to look like today. This is what I'm going to look like today. So, yeah.
So I just want to apologize to you in advance, Andre. Anytime you see Essie looking good, it's not for you, brother. It's not for you.
And there's a flip side too. When you're dressing to go somewhere, it's like, where you dressing going like that? Huh? No, that's your nice pants that you wear out. It's like, you see, again, the double standard. You know what I mean? Where a female can do what she want because it's for her enhancement or just for herself.
Can.
But when
that's the answer. A woman can do what she wants because she can.
Yeah.
Simple, point blank, end of the statement. Listen, this was a great conversation. We started talking about equality in the workplace, and I think we got to delve into a number of different issues and perspectives. And I want to thank everyone for being on the show tonight. So, Andre, I'm going to leave some final words to you. What is anything that you want to say either about this topic or anything that you're doing in life that you want the viewers to know about?
Well, I just want the viewers know, for me, it's not equality, it's just respect life and just respect a significant other. And also, female, just empower yourself and know that you guys are the head. There's no joke about that. There's only one body, but there's one head, and all the body parts play their role. So empower yourself and become the queen and the royalty you are, and then you will get treated that way. So see yourself like a queen, you get treated like one.
FCB, final words for the night.
This is for men and women. Do be the best person that you can be. Don't follow societal norms and all these rules that weren't written anywhere. People just have been following them for ages. Just do what makes the most sense to you and work the hardest that you can, and don't depend on others or whosoever. Just be the best version of yourself.
Thank you. Mama Cheryl Archer Burrell, empower everyone before you leave here tonight.
Okay, so it was I think it was Doll who said it. She said, I'm not quoting her or him. I don't even know if it's him. He said, having power is not as important as what you do with the power that you have. What you choose to do with it. What are we going to choose to do with the power that we have? I would say when it comes to equity or equality in the workplace, there has never been a better time to change the culture. We have started changing it in the home. There has never been a better time to change the culture in the workplace. Let's not waste the opportunity.
Amen. Hey, I want to thank SCB. I want to thank Andre. I want to thank Mama Cheryl Archer Burrell this evening for joining us on the chats. Women. You give a woman a house, she makes a home. You give her food, and she makes a meal. You give her a little seed, and she might bring forth children. You're very, very powerful. You're very, very appreciated. Don't ever lose sight of that. You are the queens, and no good man has ever reigned without a woman by his side. So let us just remember that let's try to be equitable in all situations that we're in. It's not about equality, but about giving people what they need in order to thrive and to succeed in the endeavors that they're bringing forward. This is another episode of Join the Chat, the place where every single opinion is important, where your voice matters, where you are free to express yourself, and you try to provide a free and an open platform to speak and also to be heard. Make sure you check out our past episodes on Join the Chat on our YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you on December 9th, where we talk about married, single, and everything else in between. We're looking forward to that one. One love to everyone. Have yourselves a great evening and happy Thanksgiving to all of my American fans and family out there. Blessings.
Yeah.